The smell of garlic and sizzling meat filled the bustling kitchen, but Mia barely noticed. Her hands moved with mechanical precision, chopping vegetables as the chatter and laughter of her coworkers swirled around her. She kept her head down, hoping to avoid their glances, her fingers trembling slightly as she worked. Mia had been working at the restaurant for only 2 months, but she already felt the sharp sting of being an outsider. At 27 years old, she had survived her share of challenges, years of homelessness, and countless sleepless nights spent under the harsh glare of streetlights. Yet nothing stung more than the mockery she endured here. Her coworkers rarely spoke to her except to bark orders or to deliver cutting remarks. "Hey, Mia," one of the line cooks called out, his tone laced with mockery. She glanced up hesitantly. "See, can you pass me the peppers?" he said, mimicking her stutter with an exaggerated stammer. Laughter erupted around the kitchen. Mia's cheeks burned, but she said nothing, handing him the peppers in silence. As the shift ended, she sat alone on the steps outside the restaurant, her shoulders slumped in defeat. She was used to being overlooked, but the cruelty gnawed at her. A tear slipped down her cheek as she whispered to herself, "Maybe I don't belong here." The next day began like any other. Mia arrived early, avoiding the lively chatter of the staff room. As she tied her apron, the atmosphere in the restaurant shifted. There was an unusual buzz among her coworkers. "Did you hear who's coming tonight?" a waiter whispered loudly. "Yeah, Barron Trump," another replied. "He's bringing his whole security team." Mia froze. The thought of a high-profile guest like Barron Trump dining at the restaurant made her chest tighten. She had seen his face on TV, tall, poised, and always calm under pressure. Tonight's dinner would undoubtedly mean high tensions and even higher stakes. By evening, the kitchen was a frenzy of activity. Mia kept her focus on her station, praying she wouldn't mess anything up. When Barron Trump arrived, the air in the restaurant shifted. His tall frame and composed demeanor commanded attention, but what struck Mia most was his warmth. "Thank you all for having me," he said, his voice smooth and genuine. As his eyes scanned the room, they briefly landed on Mia, who quickly looked away, her heart pounding. As the night wore on, the kitchen's stress hit its peak. Orders flew in one after another, and the staff barked at each other to keep pace. Mia worked quietly, trying her best to stay out of the chaos. "Hey, Mia." The head chef's sharp voice cut through the noise. "Table 12's salad is wrong. Fix it, now." Nodding nervously, Mia grabbed the plate and rushed to the counter. Her hands trembled as she tried to replace the garnish. Suddenly, the plate slipped from her grasp, shattering on the floor. The sound was like a gunshot in the busy kitchen. "Seriously," one of the line cooks sneered. "You can't even handle a salad. What are you even doing here?" Mia crouched down to pick up the shattered pieces, her hands shaking. The laughter that erupted around her felt louder than ever. Maybe if she could talk without stuttering, she wouldn't mess everything up. Someone muttered under their breath. Unbeknownst to them, Barron Trump had walked into the kitchen at that exact moment. He stood in the doorway, his expression hardening as he took in the scene. Mia's hunched figure, her trembling hands, the tears brimming in her eyes. It was enough to make him step forward. "Enough," Barron said, his voice slicing through the laughter like a knife. The room fell silent as everyone turned to look at him. The cook who had mocked Mia shifted uncomfortably under Barron's gaze, his smug smile disappearing. "Is this how you treat your team?" Barron asked, his tone calm but firm. "Mocking someone who's just trying to do their job?" No one answered. The head chef cleared his throat, mumbling, "It's not what it looks like, Mr. Trump." Barron ignored him and walked over to Mia, who was still crouched on the floor. Kneeling beside her, he asked gently, "Are you okay?" Mia nodded, though her cheeks burned with shame. I'm fine," she stammered. He gave her a small smile. "You're stronger than you think. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise." Standing, Barron turned back to the staff. A kitchen runs on teamwork. No one is above anyone else here. If you can't lift each other up, you have no business being part of this team. The following days brought a subtle but profound change. Word of Barron's intervention had spread, and the mocking laughter was replaced by awkward silence. Gradually, the staff began treating Mia with more respect, offering help instead of scorn. For Mia, something shifted too. Buoyed by Barron's words, she started to find her voice. She practiced her tasks with renewed determination, no longer letting fear paralyze her. Her confidence grew, and with it, her skills. Months later, Maya was promoted to sous chef, her stutter no longer defining her in the eyes of her colleagues. When Barron returned to the restaurant one evening, he smiled as he saw her commanding her station with quiet authority. "Keep shining," he told her as he left. "The world needs more people like you." Mia's story became an inspiration, a reminder of the power of kindness and the resilience of the human spirit. Barron Trump's simple act of standing up for her had sparked a transformation, not just in Mia, but in an entire kitchen staff. It was a lesson for everyone, that a little courage and compassion could create ripples far beyond what anyone could imagine. The ripple of kindness. The following morning, the kitchen was quieter than usual. Conversations that would have been punctuated with laughter or snide remarks were replaced with hushed tones. Mia noticed the difference immediately, though she didn't dare raise her eyes. She slipped into her routine, slicing vegetables with precision, trying to fade into the background. Her coworkers cast sidelong glances her way, but not one of them spoke to her. It wasn't an improvement, but at least it wasn't outright hostility. Still, Mia couldn't shake the memory of Barron's words. His kindness had been like a beacon in a storm, unexpected, but illuminating. During the lunch rush, the head chef called Mia over. His usual gruffness was tinged with something unfamiliar, an awkward attempt at civility. "Mia, I need you to plate the appetizers for table 3. Do it quickly, but take your time if you need to get it right." The contradictory instruction caught her off guard, but she nodded, moving to her new task. As she worked, she felt the eyes of her coworkers on her, their expressions unreadable. She wondered if they were waiting for her to fail again, to give them another reason to ridicule her. That evening, as the dinner service began, the restaurant was alive with its usual hum of clinking glasses and murmured conversations. Mia focused intently on her work. Her station was spotless, her ingredients prepped with care. She no longer tried to shrink into invisibility, but she didn't seek attention either. As the night wore on, a familiar figure entered the restaurant. Barron Trump had returned, his calm presence instantly commanding the room's attention. This time, however, he wasn't just a guest. He was accompanied by a small group of dignitaries. The head chef looked panicked, barking orders to ensure the night would go smoothly. Mia's heart raced. Barron's presence was a reminder of her lowest moment in the kitchen, but also of the unexpected kindness that followed. She resolved to prove to herself, and maybe to him, that she belonged here. During the peak of the dinner service, a crisis erupted. One of the line cooks accidentally burned an entire tray of filet mignon, and the staff scrambled to recover. The head chef turned to Mia with an urgent expression. "Mia, we need another batch prepped immediately. Can you handle it?" The kitchen fell silent, all eyes on her. She took a deep breath, her hand steady as she nodded. "Yes, chef." She worked with precision, her years of cooking on the streets paying off. She had learned to make do with limited resources and adapt quickly under pressure. Tonight, those skills served her well. As she seared the steaks to perfection, the head chef watched her with something that resembled pride. When the plates were delivered to Barron's table, his approval was evident. He nodded subtly in Mia's direction, a gesture that didn't go unnoticed by the rest of the staff. Later that evening, as the last guests trickled out and the kitchen began to wind down, Barron approached Mia. She was wiping down her station, her back to the room, when his voice startled her. "Mia." She turned to find him standing there, his tall frame imposing yet warm. "Why, yes, Mr. Trump," she stammered, her nerves returning. "You did an excellent job tonight," he said, his tone genuine. "I can see how much you've grown in such a short time. Don't let anyone make you feel like you don't belong here." His words hung in the air, sinking deep into her chest. For so long, she had doubted herself, but hearing those words from someone who had no reason to say them, someone who didn't owe her anything, was transformative. "Thank you," she managed, her voice barely above a whisper. Barron smiled. "You don't have to thank me. You earned it." In the days that followed, the atmosphere in the kitchen began to shift. It was subtle at first, a quieter kindness, a willingness to help rather than criticize. The line cook who had mocked her the most was the first to apologize. "I was out of line," he admitted one morning. "I'm sorry, Mia." Others followed suit, some with words, others with small gestures of respect. For the first time, Mia felt like part of the team. She started to speak up more, her voice gaining confidence with each passing day. Her stutter didn't disappear, but it no longer defined her. Weeks turned into months, and Mia's dedication and skill earned her a promotion to sous chef. The head chef, who had once been dismissive of her, now relied on her expertise and trusted her judgment. One evening, as she stood at her station overseeing the kitchen, she noticed a new hire struggling with a tray of appetizers. The young man, barely out of his teens, had a nervous energy that reminded her of herself not so long ago. She walked over, offering a reassuring smile. "Take your time," she said gently. "You'll get the hang of it." Her kindness was met with a look of relief and gratitude. In that moment, she realized how far she had come, not just in her career, but in her ability to see herself in others and extend the same compassion that had once been shown to her. Mia's journey became a quiet legend in the restaurant. Customers and staff alike admired her resilience and skill. Barron Trump's visits became less frequent, but each time he returned, he made it a point to speak with her. "You've built something incredible here," he told her during one visit. "But don't stop now. Keep pushing yourself. You're capable of more than you know." His words stayed with her long after he left. They became a mantra, a reminder that her past did not define her, and that her future was hers to create. Mia's story spread beyond the walls of the restaurant, inspiring others to look beyond appearances and see the potential in everyone. It was a testament to the power of kindness, the importance of standing up for what's right, and the resilience of the human spirit. In the end, what had started as a moment of humiliation in a crowded kitchen became the catalyst for a life transformed. A ripple of kindness that grew into a wave of change. Beyond the kitchen, Mia's promotion to sous chef wasn't just a milestone. It was a turning point. For years, she had drifted through life, unsure of her purpose, carrying the weight of her past like an anchor. But now she was beginning to see herself in a new light, capable, resilient, and deserving of her place. The shift in her confidence was evident not only in her work, but in her interactions with others. Her voice, though still touched by her stutter, carried authority. The same coworkers who once mocked her now sought her guidance, trusting her instincts and respecting her skill. Still, Mia couldn't shake the feeling that her journey wasn't complete. While she was proud of her achievements, a part of her yearned to give back, to use her experiences to help others who felt invisible, just as she once had. One quiet evening after the dinner rush, Mia stayed behind in the kitchen, organizing supplies and reflecting on the chaos of the past few months. The head chef approached her, a rare smile softening his usually stern expression. "You've done well, Mia," he said, leaning against the counter. "You've earned your place here." Thank you," she replied, her hands pausing over a stack of pans. "That means a lot." He hesitated, as if searching for the right words. "But I have a feeling you're not the type to settle. Am I wrong?" Mia looked up at him, surprised by his insight. "No," she admitted. "I love it here, but I've been thinking. Maybe there's more I can do." The chef nodded. "Good. Don't lose that fire." The next morning, Mia began sketching out ideas in a notebook she carried everywhere. She wanted to create something meaningful, something that could make a difference. By the time her lunch break rolled around, her notes were filled with scribbles about a program to support people who struggled to find employment, whether due to homelessness, a disability, or other barriers. She envisioned a training program that would teach participants the basics of cooking and provide them with the skills and confidence to work in professional kitchens. It would be a chance to give others the opportunity she had been lucky enough to receive. But bringing her vision to life wasn't easy. Mia had no experience in starting a program, let alone running one. She spent her evenings researching grants, writing proposals, and reaching out to local organizations for support. Every step felt like climbing a mountain, but she pressed on, fueled by the memory of her struggles and the hope of creating change. One day, as she was finalizing her plans, a familiar figure walked into the restaurant. Barron Trump had returned, this time unaccompanied. He took his usual seat near the window, and when the head chef informed him that Mia was now the sous chef, his face lit up with pride. After his meal, Barron sought Mia out in the kitchen. "I hear congratulations are in order," he said with a warm smile. "You've come a long way." "Thank you," Mia said, her cheeks flushing. "But I actually wanted to talk to you about something." Barron raised an eyebrow. "Go on." She took a deep breath and explained her vision, her words tumbling out in a rush. "I do want to start a program for people who need a second chance, like I did, to teach them skills and give them confidence. But I'm not sure where to start, and I thought maybe you could give me some advice." Barron listened intently, nodding as she spoke. When she finished, he said, "That's an incredible idea, Mia, and I think I can do more than just give advice." With Barron's support, Mia's program quickly gained traction. He connected her with influential figures, helped secure funding, and even arranged for the program to be hosted in a vacant space near the restaurant. Mia threw herself into the work, developing a curriculum that blended practical skills with personal development. The program launched 6 months later under the name Second Chances Culinary Academy. Its first class consisted of 10 participants, each with their own stories of hardship and resilience. Mia's story became a cornerstone of the program's ethos, a reminder that no one's potential should be overlooked. In the years that followed, the academy grew beyond anything Mia had imagined. Hundreds of graduates went on to build successful careers, their lives transformed by the skills and confidence they gained. The restaurant where Mia had once struggled became a partner in the program, offering internships and employment opportunities to graduates. As for Mia, she continued to grow, both as a leader and as a chef. She found her voice, not in spite of her stutter, but because of it. It became a symbol of her journey, a reminder of where she had been and how far she had come. Years later, during an anniversary celebration for the Academy, Barron Trump was invited as a guest of honor. Standing before a crowd of graduates, supporters, and staff, Mia spoke with the confidence of someone who had found her purpose. "This academy isn't just about cooking," she said, her voice steady. "It's about believing in people. It's about giving them the tools to rebuild their lives and showing them that they're worth it. I know that because someone once believed in me when I didn't believe in myself." As she finished her speech, the room erupted into applause. Barron, sitting in the front row, gave her a standing ovation, his expression one of pride and admiration. Mia's journey had come full circle, but her work was far from over. She had turned her pain into purpose, her struggles into strength, and in doing so, she had not only changed her own life, but the lives of countless others, a testament to the power of kindness, resilience, and the unwavering belief in second chances. A lesson in second chances. Years after that fateful night in the restaurant kitchen, Mia stood on the balcony of the Second Chances Culinary Academy, gazing down at the bustling courtyard below. The sounds of clanging pots, laughter, and focused conversations filled the air, sounds that told the story of transformation. Each face she saw was a reminder of why she had fought so hard to create this space, to give others what she had once so desperately needed. As the academy expanded, so did Mia's understanding of the power of belief, both in oneself and in others. She had learned that a single act of kindness could be the catalyst for change, and that true leadership wasn't about authority, but about lifting others up. Barron Trump's decision to stand up for her had planted a seed, and through her efforts, that seed had grown into a flourishing movement. One evening, during a private graduation ceremony for the latest cohort of the academy, Mia took the stage to address the group. Her once wavering voice now carried a quiet strength. "Each of you sitting here today has a story," she began, her eyes scanning the room. "Some of you have faced homelessness, addiction, or discrimination. Others have been told you weren't good enough, that you didn't belong. I know what that feels like. But I also know this. Those struggles don't define you. What defines you is how you rise." She paused, her words hanging in the air. "I once thought my stutter was a weakness. I thought it made me less capable, less deserving. But now, I see it for what it really is, a part of me, just like my strength, my determination, and my compassion. It's not what holds me back, it's what pushes me forward. And the same is true for you. Your challenges are not your limitations. They're the building blocks of your resilience." The graduates, many with tears in their eyes, erupted into applause. Among the audience was Barron Trump, who watched with quiet pride. After the ceremony, he approached Mia, as he always did. "You've built something extraordinary," he said, shaking her hand. "But more than that, you've taught people that no matter how hard life gets, they can rewrite their story." Mia smiled. "I had a great example to follow." The lesson Mia carried forward, and one she passed on to every graduate, was simple yet profound. Kindness is never wasted. A single moment of courage, a single act of standing up for someone, can change the course of a life. Whether it's in the heat of a busy kitchen, the quiet of a late-night conversation, or the structured environment of an academy, believing in others, and teaching them to believe in themselves, creates ripples that extend far beyond what we can see. In the end, Mia's story wasn't just about her journey from the streets to the kitchen, or from ridicule to respect. It was about the power of second chances, the ones we give to others, and the ones we give to ourselves. As the academy lights dimmed that evening, and the last guests trickled out, Mia stood alone in the courtyard for a moment, looking up at the stars. She thought about how far she'd come, and how far she still wanted to go. Life had taught her that every challenge could be a stepping stone, every act of kindness a spark, and every stumble an opportunity to rise stronger. And that was the legacy she hoped to leave, not just as a chef or a leader, but as someone who believed, above all, in the boundless potential of the human spirit. With a deep breath, she turned and walked inside, ready for whatever came next. This concludes the story. Thank you for watching until the end. I hope you found it enjoyable. If you did, please consider liking the video and sharing it with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and activate the notification bell for more captivating stories. Have a great day.